soon. Good evening and welcome here to ABC4 News at 10 o'clock. I'm Sarah Murphy. As you're about to see, Brien McElhatten is out on assignment. Now, this week marks 80 years since D-Day, and people from around the world are gathering in Normandy, France, to commemorate that important moment in World War II. We have special coverage for you all week. Our Brien McElhatten is live in Normandy tonight as the commemoration begins. Brien, I guess we should say good morning to you.
That's right, Sarah. Good morning to you from Normandy, France. I know the sun has gone down in Utah, but it is just beginning to come up here over the shores of Omaha Beach, the Omaha Beach, where on June 6, 1944, thousands of Allied troops came ashore and started pushing back the Germans as they began to liberate France. A turning point in the World War II, and a turning point in world history, and we will talk about that. But first, let me show you around here on Omaha Beach. This is the memorial right here, the brave ones, honoring the troops who came ashore and fought so incredibly hard. Every inch they had to fight to take this beach. You can see the Atlantic Ocean here. Imagine what it was like in June of 1944. Thousands of those men coming ashore, fighting a slow, aggressive fight through the water at first, then through the sand. You would have heard thousands of planes overhead as hundreds and hundreds of ships kept bringing those men to the beach. Now, as they worked their way up to the beach, they had another target in mind. They had to get over through the cliffs right up there and fight very heavily entrenched German positions there. But it's a very different scene now here this year. You can see there's a stage set for the international commemoration coming up here in just a few days. Many people from all around the world will be here. And that brings us to this morning, while we are here right now. Well, there's a Utah connection I want to tell you about. Some flags made in Utah that are here in Normandy on a very special mission. Take a look.
At Colonial Flag, every stitch has a meaning. Every swipe of the hand, every inch of thread, a purpose.
But it takes a lot of time to put 50 stars on one side, flip it over, put 50 stars, and then you have to sew it like that.
That's Paul Swenson, owner of Colonial Flag in Utah, and keeper of the faith, if you will. Faith in what this patchwork of fabric represents.
I like to think of a flag as, you know, just say there's 330 million Americans right now, okay? I'd like to think of the flag as having 330 million little stitches in it. You can have a natural disaster over here, or an uprising over here, or a riot over here, but the rest of the flag maintains its integrity.
A timely thought as the world gathers to remember this.
The greatest news story in 1944, D-Day, H hour.
Normandy, a turning point in World War II. This week marks 80 years since the invasion. Imagine what the war effort did for American unity in 1944.
At the risk of sounding sort of like a little bit sappy.
That's University of Utah history professor Peter Rohde.
The military in World War II was the greatest melting pot in history, arguably. You know, people of every religion, every color, everything you can imagine, right? And it blended them into a force fighting for a clear purpose. They accomplished amazing things together.
And that brings us back to Colonial Flag, where these American flags are about to be flown over Normandy in honor of those veterans, stitched together as one in defense of freedom.
As they die off, I think they would like to know that what they sacrificed and what their friends who didn't make it back sacrifice had meaning. And that meaning, to me, is one of the quickest ways of communicating that is through the flag.
Okay, so those flags you saw right there are in Normandy now. In fact, that former Green Beret who owns that company, Firebrand Flags, He is jumping, parachuting over Normandy with those flags, with a number of other veterans, and with some of the actors from the Band of Brothers TV series. Remember that show? Very popular. They are here taking part in the commemoration too. It is quite a remarkable event. Now, I do want to tell you that Colonial Flag is making those flags, those special flags for the veteran. They have very specialized equipment used to make those flags. In fact, the flags are fireproof, hence the name Fire brand flags. They can't catch fire. So I want to play some sound from you, from the man who is making sure all of those flags were put together just right.
We finally got a product that's fireproof, that works. These colors are a bit more of a nostalgic color, a little bit lighter blue, a little bit lighter red, a little bit off-white, that matches kind of what a flag would look like from that era.
Yeah, those flags are remarkable to see, and those flags have 48 stars, just like the American flag had during World War II for the 48 states. Hawaii and Alaska hadn't yet become states at that point. We will introduce you to the Green Beret who's jumping with those flags tomorrow. We can't wait to do that. But before we go, can I show you something? Why don't we pan over here, and I want to show you some naval ships just off the shore. We've been watching them come in this morning since we've been here. They're practicing for a reenactment of the invasion. That's going to happen later this week, where the military is practicing. We just saw a landing ship come ashore, drop its ramp down, and so they're practicing the maneuvers because they want to get this just right. It's such a big moment. 80 years since the invasion of Normandy, and the active duty military is here. The Utah National Guard is here. Other people from Utah are here. Yes, we are going to tell all of their stories for you as we continue our coverage all week long here from Normandy, France. I do hope you'll join us every night right here at 10 o'clock, and of course, anytime you'd like on abc4.com and our social media channels. But for now, Sarah, live in Normandy, France on Omaha Beach. Back to you.
Brien, what a treat that is to see. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to the coverage this entire week. We'll see you right back here at the same time tomorrow.